Hey, what is up guys? It's me, King Blake, and we're back at it with another video. I've been playing since beta, so I've been able to compile a few tips of my own, and I am here to share them with you today. These are my top 5 tips for beginner players that are playing Brawl Stars. Now, the first tip is learn how to strafe. If you don't know what strafing is, it is when you move left to right to change not change the direction of your bullets, but kind of change the direction. That didn't make sense. Let me explain. So, some brawlers such as Colt and Ricochet, they shoot multiple bullets, and once those bullets leave your gun, you can't change it. The only way to kind of aim the way of which they are going is to strafe. And by strafing, you move left to right to change the bullets. Change the change the way. Now, there are 5 brawlers and Brawl Stars that this currently applies to: Pam, Bo, Ricochet, and Colt, as I mentioned earlier. So, if we look in the lower left for Bo, he shoots 3 arrows, and if you strafe left, your arrows will go in more of a line, in kind of like a beam. But if you strafe right, you will get much more of an array of arrows, or much more zone coverage. If you were to strafe left, you would get much more of a single shot. If you look now in the upper left, we have Pam. Pam just shoots a bunch of bullets, but strafing still does apply to her, because if you move around, you can hit more shrapnel on your opponent. Now, if we look on the upper right now, we have Ricochet. Ricochet and Colt are very similar. They both shoot a good amount of bullets, but you need to strafe to get maximum damage. So if we look in the lower right, I see those 2 brawlers such as Ricochet and Primo. I want to make sure I strafe. So there we go. The Primo, I'm figuring left and right, and also left and right with my super, because the supers also apply. Unpictured here is Leon and Brock super. Now, second, it's learn how to dodge. Now, there are different types of brawlers you need to dodge. Brawlers that strafe with their shots, you need to dodge differently. Instead of looking at the bullets, what I tend to do, I look at the brawlers themselves and see which way they are moving. I tend to ignore the bullets that are coming at me, or I ignore them for a couple seconds. I more so look at the brawler and see which way they are strafing, because if they're strafing right, I want to make sure I'm not moving right as well. I don't want to get caught up in all of their bullets. But if it's a single shot brawler such as Piper, Brock, you wanna look at the bullet. You wanna move left and right to make sure that you never want to stay still. This is just a good thing in Brawl Stars. You never want to stay still, because then you're just an easy shot for any brawler, really. So you want to move left and right, and as soon as the shot's fired, you need to make sure you're not walking into it. Sometimes you get unlucky and you do just walk into it, and it just be like that sometimes. But you have to make sure you are just paying attention very closely. Now, for brawlers such as Bull and Primo that are very short range, you want to make sure that you're kind of just running around them. You want to make sure that if you get caught in the middle and you're right by a Primo, you just want to make sure you're running right around them, so their shots do not hit you. And there are many other ones that kind of fall into these categories, kind of like Spike, whose shot now with recent nerf explodes, so you know where his spikes are going, so it makes his shots a lot easier. And also with Piper and Crow, if you have any supers that can jump, you can also use those to evade. Moving on, number 3, learn the art of the ambush. Now, what the art of the ambush is when you are in a bush and you surprise the enemy. This can be in Showdown, but it's really good in Gem Grab, especially this specific map. Now, as you can see, I start moving down the left side because this is the best way to ambush people in this map. If you can ambush anyone in Gem Grab, you can turn the tides of the game. You can be losing, you could be in countdown, but if you can get a good ambush off, you can cause your team to win, as I do in this game. So I'm already behind enemy lines. The Colt knows I'm here, but I still go for him. He gets slurped up. Now this Jesse knows I'm here, this Bull probably knows I'm here, but I'm able to take on this Bull because Shelly's super, no one can take you on mano a mano if you have your super. I pressed for my super, but it did not activate that time, so I was kind of sad. But, you know, we already turned the tide. We are 7-0 in gems just because of that ambush and spawn trapping of people. Spawn trapping is an extremely important strategy, and if you can get a good ambush on people and spawn trap them, you can win the game. Now, I did press my super again for that Colt, but I guess it didn't happen. But it's all good because we were 7-3. We almost have this game in the bag. That Jessie's going super aggressive, losing some gems for her team. So now we only need 2 more gems. I see this bull. He has 2 gems. I have my super, but I kind of get ambushed by myself by that Colt. I did not expect that Colt to be there whatsoever. Now it's 8-5, and this is one of those situations where we just can't get out because we're kind of spawn trapped. But the bull goes for us. I use my super and he kind of almost throws a game, but it was inevitable. We were gonna win. I just take out that turret. I make sure that no one will take out our primo. I just go after this Colt to scare him away. Then we end up killing him with our super. Now I think it is time to move on to our next tip, which is you need to learn when or when not to auto attack. Auto attacking can be extremely strong, but can also lose you the kill in some circumstances, such in showdown when you are attacking someone with auto attack, but you walk by a power box. Your auto attack might go for that box or not. So what I tend to do is when I'm especially going into this grass, I tend to do one shot ahead of myself to check for my and then if I see anyone and if they're within like a 2-tile radius, that's when I auto attack. I generally only auto attack with short range brawlers such as El Primo or Bull, but with other brawlers such as Brock or any close range brawler, not close range, but if you're ever a close range fight with anyone, auto attack seems to be really good. Now this Primo comes after me, and I'm kind of scared because there's no way I can take him out. I do not have my super. Primo has much more power boxes. Now this bull kind of comes out of nowhere. Wasn't expecting, but I charge up my super enough to be able to take out that Primo, and we're looking pretty nice. Now I'm checking the grass here, just making sure I see the bull. No one else is in the grass. I already checked. Thought I'd take him on. Wasn't expecting to shoot in there because I saw him earlier and he was obviously auto attacking. So I was like, he probably won't check, but whatever. We tried to get the jump on this Crow, but Crow is just so much faster than me and is able to get away. Now look at this. Look at this 1v1. I am scared for my life. I'm actually surprised the Crow didn't go for me, but we used that 1 tile thick wall to evade the capture, not the capture, but the evade death. Now I see this bull, but I also see this fight going on, so I thought I might be able to get on them when they're low, but then I try to go in. I was hoping the Shelly would be a little bit lower health, but she doesn't, and she has her super, so there was no way I was going to try going after that. This bull, but that was a misplay right there. I accidentally used I didn't think my shots would kill him, so now I'm trapped. I'm pinned. The Shelly has her super. There's no way I can possibly take her on, even though she only has 2 power cubes. We end up getting 3rd place, but it's not too bad. That was a good demonstration of when they auto aim or not. Now it's number 5. Learn to be aggressive. Now it really depends on what mode and what else you're playing in the circumstance. So first you want to evaluate the situation. Now we're playing in heist, so that means you generally want to be more aggressive than defensive, because if you're too defensive, then you'll just get push after push after push, and you'll lose the game. So as we go in here, we're getting some good damage. With our first push, we get it down to 30%. Now as we go on, another tip is you want to see who you're going. You want to make sure you're not in a mismatch when you're being aggressive. So if you're like Jessie, you probably don't want to be super aggressive at the bull unless it's really low health. So I saw that Frank and I was very concerned because I thought that he had his range, but I just stood back a little bit and then went more aggressive. And then I saw this 8% 4%, so I just went super aggressive. Okay guys, that's the end of this video. Subscribe, like, comment in the comment section below what you want me to do next. Hope you enjoyed, hope this helped. King Blake out.